What's going on, my PT peeps, my Walking Dead family, my fighters? I'm One Eyebrow, also known as PT. Don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about Fear the Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 15. It aired today, well, probably yesterday, or early morning, whenever you watched it, early access on AMC+. And after the Memorial Day holiday, they didn't show it, but then other countries had it, so then it leaked in places. Either way, spoiler warning for Fear the Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 15. Review, recap, breakdown, discussion, all those things. We're going to talk about the episode, that's for sure. So make sure you are a subscriber to the channel so you don't miss out on our daily Walking Dead videos. Subscribe today. Now, the episode focuses on Strand on the intro, but it's really Morgan and Strand and our group and the submarine. But Morgan's group left the town that Morgan built. Not sure where they went. I guess it's a naval base. Per Lucy and everyone on the radio, it was kind of hard to hear, but everybody left the community. You see Dakota, or Sue, whatever you want to call her, talking with Teddy inside the submarine. You see that Dakota is buying in. She wasn't sent there by Morgan. She is one of Teddy's people now. She is quoting Teddy and their conversation, so she definitely buys in. So the theory that she was sent there by Morgan and that she's going to actually take Teddy out doesn't work, because they actually fire a missile. And Dakota's terrible. There's no redeeming this character. But Riley is interesting because he was the weapons officer on this boat, the submarine. I would assume he's going to be in the Fear the Walking Dead Dead Water spinoff thing. But Dakota is definitely buying in to what Teddy is saying. Teddy was there for Riley after Riley lost everybody. We see a younger picture of Riley on the boat, but the plan is to go ahead and launch the missiles, and they're okay with it. Now, Morgan is saying goodbye to his community. It's very dramatic, very drawn out, of course, but you can tell certain things in the episode foreshadowing. Morgan takes out his axe and he looks at it, but he also points it at himself, like someone's going to turn against him in the episode, and Strand kind of does that. Dakota is handed the gun that she shoots Strand with later on in the episode. Morgan leaves the community, and I'm assuming that this town is going to be blown up by the missile that was launched, and all these people come to the submarine, but what can they really do? Not much, because there's only so much room in the submarine. Morgan's already waiting for them. He's looking at the note from Dakota, and you clearly see that Morgan is struggling with everything. He feels responsible. He feels like he's the one that should end this one way or another. He doesn't want any of these people to die, and everybody is seen here to show where they are, besides the bunch of people that were in the town. I don't know where the people in Lawton were. Don't know where the kids were. Don't know where Wendell was. But either way, our group is going to the submarine, and they do a pretty good job of giving everyone a role here, like people on the radio. But this cast is just so overcrowded that there's so many people here and not enough jobs here. But we see our group. This is our main group that goes into the submarine, and Morgan is the one that's going down. He takes the Geiger counter for the radiation readings. And I have to say that Grace was kind of annoying here. She's like, "What's the reading? What's the reading? What's the reading?" Morgan's like, "Relax a little bit. I'll give you the reading in a second." She's like, "What's the reading?" Like, okay, stop. Like, it really matters anyway. Morgan's going down there one way or another. If the readings are off the charts, who cares, right? And while Morgan is looking up with Grace, he gets distracted. It's at 10. It's fine. Don't worry about it, right? Grace is like, "What's the reading?" He's distracted, and a walker sneaks up on him. But my question is, how were there so many walkers still here? And Dakota, Riley, and Teddy were able just to get around them. I mean, I guess they blocked them off in certain parts of the boat, but June takes out the walker. Poof, great shot. Morgan and Grace have the heart-to-heart where they really haven't been able to talk since they lost Athena. And we don't lose anybody in this episode, like anybody. So we'll have to see if the season 6 finale is a major loss for these characters, because I'm not sure where everyone's going to go. They're all together, and the bomb's going to explode. But where are they going to go for safety? And some of them split up, as we saw the promo photos for Season 6, Episode 16 that I'll share in another video. But it's safe, so everybody comes down. They talk about how many people are on this boat, how many walkers are going to be on this boat, and they say 150. So Lucy is on the radio, and it's kind of hard to understand her sometimes on it because of her accent. It's just not clear, but there's 150, and then as they killed the one walker, I was like, 149, they killed one, right? Here you go. But they know they're in there. That's where the missiles are located, and it's pretty cool that they have someone looking at the schematics. That's kind of wishful thinking that they would get those, but they know how to get around the boat somewhat until Morgan goes off on his own. And I get why. It's not smart to go off on your own, but he's pushing it. Like, let's go, let's go. Time is of the essence. We can't be waiting around. If we get there soon enough, we can stop them. But they don't, but they do, because they only launch one missile. that has 10 warheads on it. So there's going to be at least 10 spots that are destroyed. But I just wonder, where's it going to be? How's it going to be? Just some spot in Texas, I'm guessing, right? But they're trying to figure out what to do, and the ship doesn't have power. So until they have power, they can't launch anything. So they get on the, I don't know, PA system or the emergency system. And it's pretty smart that Grace uses the thing that reminds me of Top Gun. But Morgan's talking to Grace, but then that also leaves the fact that Teddy and everybody else can hear them as well too, which makes sense, you know? So Teddy is on there and he's like, hey, it took you long enough, right? No, he's like, hey, it's about time, right? So he's just in there having a good time and he likes the attention and he likes the power play, but he's talking to Morgan. So then John Dory Sr. is like, give me that, right? And it's pretty cool that they talk, but they don't meet. So it's like, man, I guess we're saving that for the season 6 finale. They still have to meet. I still want the showdown with John Dory Sr. taking out Teddy. So will Teddy survive to season 7? Probably. I would think so, right? But Teddy, John Dory Sr. talk it out, and it's pretty cool. I like that for sure. And I hope John Dory Sr. makes it to season 7 because he's a cool character. I like this actor for sure. June gets on the radio and talks to Grace a little bit more. That gives Morgan time to escape and go on his own to be like, all right, look, let's go after these guys. Let's go take them out. And then there's some banging. I'm not sure what it was. Somebody was working on something. Maybe it was Riley or Morgan, but that's what attracts the walkers. So they just walk right by our group. They're not attracted to the sounds of our group talking on the radio or walking around. The walkers just walk around. Strand goes to find Morgan and he takes out a couple walkers. And I was trying to look for different names on the sailors' outfits, but you see Wright, you see Garza, you see a couple different names, and I was like, maybe they'll give something away there. I didn't see any Easter eggs for that, but Morgan finds a way into another part of the submarine, and the walkers are coming towards him, and he kills a walker, goes back to the door, kills a walker, back to the door, and it's like, just take all the walkers out so you don't have to worry about it. Like, clear the room, and then you can go as fast as you want down the way, make sure it's safe for you. I mean, what's the point of going fast if it's not safe? But Morgan is all about going and going and going, and Strand actually finds him, and it's a big showdown with Morgan and Strand later on in the episode, and I have to say, it's Strand being Strand. You can't trust this guy. Every season, he does something against a member of our group, and you're like, all right, this is what this guy does, and Morgan finally saw that because Morgan doesn't really know Strand like we do, and then we have the heart-to-heart with Strand and Morgan, and we kind of find out that Morgan is trying to do this to protect everybody. He feels like he's the one to blame about the key, about just everything. And Strand's like, look, people don't follow you because you owe them something. They follow them because they want to. Then this walker's in there. I don't know what this walker was doing, while they were talking, but the walker's kind of creepy. It's kind of freaky, and it's definitely radioactive as the Geiger counter is going off the charts. And it reminds me of Thriller or something. Don't you know it's Thriller? But you see the reading on the Geiger counter is just going up and up and up. And they kill the walker, and I'd be like, get away from this thing. This thing is gross. But they decide to not go through the radioactive walkers, which is very smart. The power comes back on. They're like, let's go around. And if you think about it, there's no way Teddy and Riley and Dakota went through those radioactive walkers. There's got to be another way. The walkers are just falling down the chute there, almost take Strand out, and you see the bone coming out that walker's neck. It's pretty gross, pretty gnarly, pretty great all at the same time. And they check and check again, and then it's all clear. Another great shot of those walkers right there. But they showed this walker a couple times. Well, dead walker that I think will be in the Dead Water spinoff thing. Then we see Morgan and Strand are surrounded by walkers, but the walkers are kind of blocked, so they can't really get to them right away. And then the walkers push through, and it's all dramatic. And then you see the different walkers here, right? Like fresher bodies. You can kind of see they look different somewhat. I don't know if it's a mistake or what, and someone pointed out one of the prosthetics looked kind of bad in one of the scenes, well, a couple scenes actually, but I have to say it looks pretty good overall. And again, this was filmed during the pandemic too. So the walkers are on the other side of this door, but there's really only one way out of this place that they don't find for a couple minutes. They got to have their dialogue, but the walkers are coming through there. Morgan and Strand go by where the bunks are, and they look around, and they don't know what to do and don't know where to go. And the walkers are coming out the door now, and they're coming after them. And I believe that sailor's last name Brown. So we see a picture of Riley right here with the USS Pennsylvania shirt on it, and that's what this boat is called because he was the weapons officer on it. And I guess that's him with his girl, 3B. But ultimately, you see that Morgan puts it together that this is how they did it. Riley is who he saw at the barn, and then the walkers are going to push through this, and it's going to be real dramatic, and the walkers are coming after everybody. And again, they show this walker that's handcuffed to the railing. But as Morgan and Strand are talking, something snaps in Strand's head evidently. Like, Alicia didn't call me, she called you because you'll do the things that I won't do. Well, it's kind of annoying that Strand was going to kill Morgan, and he tried to. He basically threw Morgan to the walkers. And I don't know how you could like this guy for doing this. And it fits the Strand character, but it doesn't fit the story here. Like, it came out of nowhere. I'm just scratching my head like, why are you doing this? You both can get away. Why are you sacrificing Morgan, or trying to sacrifice Morgan? Because I didn't feel like Morgan was ever going to die, because he doesn't die. He said it himself. Strand breaks the axe like he's superhuman strength, and it's not even at the weak point where it was repaired. It's at another point in the stick. But I know it's fiction, but either way, Strand is going to sacrifice Morgan, and I just don't know why. After watching the episode twice, I'm like, why is this happening? Why is Strand kicking Morgan like he's in the WWE, poof, and Morgan falls down and he's surrounded by walkers, which reminded me a lot of what Morgan did to Jared on The Walking Dead in season 8. I know it's not the same thing, but it just reminded me of that. And as Morgan is surrounded here with walker hands in his face, Strand picks up a piece of the axe that he broke and he looks back and Morgan shouts, and it's like Strand smiles, like, ha ha ha. And you're like, that's terrible. So does Strand have a thing against Morgan because of the whole Ginny situation that Alicia called for him, and Strand is a little B? But ultimately, I don't know why it happened, but it did. And as he gets to the locked door, Dakota's waiting for him. So I guess Dakota was just waiting here the entire time, being the security safety lookout, and she knows what Strand did. So she gets on the radio, PA system, emergency system, whatever you want to say, and she talks about what she did and why she did it. And you're like, nobody cares, Dakota. It's not about you. There's more things about you. But she's a teenage girl, so she's going to talk about herself, right? She talks about why she killed John, and that pisses off June and John Dory Sr. Grace is worried about Strand killing Morgan, because if it was really any other character, Morgan should be dead. But we know Morgan's not going to die. It's drawn out what Dakota says over the radio. Grace is freaking out. Everybody's listening. They're really, I don't know where they are and what they're doing, but there's a whole conversation with Dakota monologuing, basically what villains do, right? And there's no redeeming Dakota. Just get rid of this chick, have her die in the season 6 finale or early on in season 7. Strand is willing to be killed right here, I guess, right? He realizes, all right, this is it. I'm the a-hole. I'm going to go out. Let me just close my eyes. And he gets shot, but in the shoulder. And Morgan knocks out Dakota. Well, they fight a little bit, and then he knocks her out with the stick. Morgan doesn't die. We knew that wasn't going to happen. Come on, right? We know that Morgan has the plot armor thicker than anybody in the Walking Dead universe, and especially on Fear the Walking Dead. Dakota's just knocked out. She's not dead. He looks down, and Strand tries to say something, and Morgan's like, shut up. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. We'll talk about what you did later. We got something to do. And Morgan gets on the radio. He's like, don't worry, Grace. I'm okay, baby. I'll be back to see you. Grace is like, okay. No, she's like, everybody's happy because Morgan's still alive. And Grace says, I'm still here. Everybody's still in the boat trying to stop things, right? Morgan hands the axe to Strand once again. Be like, we still have work to do. We still got to work together. But it's got to be really annoying to be with the guy that just tried to kill you, to be like, all right, we still got to work together. And Strand's like, it's kind of what I do, right? I've done it every season. It's just me being me. I've tried to look at where the coordinates were that Riley programmed, but there's just no way to tell. Riley's working away and he's still trying to do things to launch the missiles. And the plan was to probably launch all the missiles on the boat. Teddy calls for Dakota, but she doesn't answer. And while he's doing that, we see the light trying to be unlocked, like the card keys are trying to be opening the door, and it's not working. It's like, Would that really happen? I don't know, but we know that that's what's happening here. Riley and Teddy know we got to keep working. Let's go. So Riley's typing away, and it's Morgan trying to unlock the door with the key cards that he found on the dead walkers that he killed, on the dead officers on the boat. And man, Morgan's doing a lot here. And Strand watches and he's like, yeah, well, you know, if I didn't do that, then you wouldn't be able to do this. And it's just like, shut up, Strand, just shut up. Teddy and Riley are ready with the keys. They have to do this at the same time. And I know some people are going to be like, well, don't they have the launch code? Don't you have to have launch codes? I don't know. I haven't been on a submarine. Again, it's fiction. They have the keys. That's all they need for the story here. On 3, they have to do it simultaneously. And ultimately, they're going to launch a missile and stuff's going to get blown up. Morgan's trying with all the different keys on the different keys. He's got 1 key left, and of course, it's going to be dramatic, and it works. So the same time that he puts the key in and unlocks the door, they turn the key, and it's at the same time. You know, it's what they do on these type of shows. So it's real dramatic. And Morgan and Strand are just a couple seconds too late. If they were there a little bit sooner, like Morgan wanted to be, they could have stopped them. But as Morgan and Strand are opening the door, Teddy and Riley are launching the first missile, and the keys are ready to go, but they have to launch it from the controller, and they're able to launch 1 missile off. Again, that has 10 warheads. We'll find out Riley says that. Teddy is scared, but for someone who's willing to die, that's pretty off character. But ultimately, we see Teddy and Riley are caught by Strand and Morgan. But it's too late. They were going to launch 1 missile, and I wonder what they're actually going to blow up with it. We don't know what the coordinates are, and we'll have to find out next episode. But we do see the launched missile in the air, and the boat is shaking. Everybody's trying to leave the ship. And our group here, besides Morgan and Strand, were kind of useless. They didn't really do too much in the episode. Again, we see this walker again. We see this walker like 3 times. They highlight it several times in the boat. And there's really nothing that Morgan and Strand can do because the missile is on its way. And it's going wherever it's going to go. And it's not going to be mass destruction because Fear the Walking Dead's timeline is several years before The Walking Dead World Beyond and The Walking Dead. That's a shit on a stick. That's a pretty big stick. It's a pretty funny line by Sarah. Gotta love her comedy. She's definitely got the funny one-liners. Everybody watches on and they're really helpless. And the question is, where are they going to go? How many people are going to live? How many people are going to die? I mean, this missile is just going wherever it's going to go. So I would assume season 6, episode 16 is going to pick up right where this leaves off. Morgan and Strand are helpless what to do here. I mean, the missile's already gone, so what are they going to do? They can't stop the missile, but Riley wants to launch more missiles, so he sees the controller and he wants to go over to it. Strand points his gun at him. Well, he already had his gun on him, and he's like, nope, don't do it. And Teddy's fine with them only launching 1 missile because it's a start. But why would you let Teddy and Riley live? Because that's what they do. They let them go. They're like, get out of here. Why? So they can go cause more havoc? You're letting terrorists leave the boat. You let these people leave. I just don't get it. But either way, Morgan and Strand are left in the boat. Morgan puts his stick down and he feels terrible because he feels responsible for the key and the launch and just everything. Strand and Morgan, they tried, but they were defeated. And Morgan's not buying what Strand is saying. You know, Morgan calls him out. It's like, you wanted to act like a big hero to Alicia. All you did was slow me down and cause more problems. I wonder what's going to happen with Morgan and Strand. Do you think Morgan would take out Strand? Morgan tells Strand to get out of here. So Morgan's left alone in the sub. He sees the key and he's got to think, if I didn't give this key to them, they couldn't do this. But they don't know what it unlocked until now. So Morgan's left in the sub by himself, and that's how the episode ends. So this was 6:15. Next week is 6:16, the season finale. So there you go, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. Overall, it's a good episode. Set up some major things for the future of the series. Thank you, guys. Stay safe and tell them Daryl.